grade 7. So I'm so sorry if I won't be able to meet you in our scheduled virtual class. However, this is our equivalent discussion, our equivalent class for the third week in fourth grading. All right, so let me start. So this picture is the office of the Philippine National Authority. So actually, they are responsible for releasing our official birth certificate and official details about us. All right, so they are, where's my cursor? Okay, so the Philippine Statistics Authority is a sector of the national government that is responsible for compiling, presenting, analyzing, and interpreting data primarily involving our population, the Philippine population. Okay, so today you will experience how to work in the NSO or the PSA office because you will acquaint yourself with the different key concepts of a branch in mathematics that deals with the processing of data. And that mathematics or a field in mathematics is called statistics. All right? So, as a student, you are faced with a lot of numerical and categorical information. For example, your scores in math quizzes, your age, your religious affiliation, as well as the cost of a meal in a fast food restaurant, fast food food shop. All right. So mathematically speaking, these numerical and categorical information are called data. All right. And most data provide reports that guide our decision making and help us to draw our conclusion. But that data must be transmitted, processed, and converted into usable form. Because if wala dili na nimo siya gamiton, then wala siya. If dili na nimo siya i-process, you will not infer and how do you call that one? And analyze, it's no longer useful. Uh, Hence, the birth of of statistics. Statistics was how do you call it one? Statistics was involved or evolved because of that notion that all data must be transmitted, processed, and analyzed. All right. So, what do you mean by statistics? Collection of methods for planning an experiment, obtaining data, and then analyzing, interpreting, and drawing conclusion based on the data. So not just getting the data, but you need also to analyze and interpret what the data is telling us. All right. So there are two statistics are very important in the field of politics, like during elections. Statistics is very used in tallying, yung kasi makadaog kasi makadaog sa kanang sa mga election, right? So statistics is used there. In the government, same thing that for instance in the vaccine, 'di ba? Gagamit ang statistics ana para makahibaw ka kung kinsay pinaka-highest of efficacy rate in terms of vaccine. Gamito na siya like the POPCOM or Commission of the Population, gamit gihapon na ang statistics. Education, of course, our researchers, what is the best method to use in teaching? Statistics is used in education. Same thing with science and research in um, formulating a certain vaccine, a certain um, a certain medicine. All right. Same thing with business. The trend, the global trend of certain like how do you call that one? Stocks. And of course, in entertainment, we have the awards, kinsay pinakadaghan o kinsay pinaka-famous in terms of international domains o mga XO, mga Blackpink and all. So in entertainment field, statistics is widely used. And same thing with economics and investments. We have the stock market and all. So statistics is widely used in almost all field or aspects in our life. All right, so there are two types of statistics, the descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So what's the difference between the two? Descriptive statistics is a statistical procedure that aims to provide description about a set of data. It summarizes the data using statistical measure such as the mean, median, and the mode. So descriptive statistic basically is just you are describing, you are giving a summary about the population. While inferential statistic, you are making prediction, inferences, and generalization about the population by studying the set of data taken from its representative sample. Let me give an example for the two to just to check the difference between the two. Descriptive statistics, for instance, we are we want to know the average allowance of the high school students in the Philippines. Okay, so upon research, kaybaw ka nga kanang how they call it on kay ka nga ang average allowance sa high school students kay 20 pesos. So meaning that's already descriptive statistics. You are given a description, an idea, or a certain characteristics of the population through the mean or the average. While inferential statistics, for instance, kaybaw ka nga kanang daghan kaayo ang population ay in terms of high school students daghan kaayo. So ang buhaton nimo mo test ka, mag-hypothesis testing ka, mag-select ra ba ka og high school student sa Central Visayas and imo siyang i-test. And then using 5% significant level, alpha, significant level alpha, then naingon din ko nga significant siya. So meaning makaingon din ka nga ang allowance pud ay sa high school students sa tibuok Pilipinas kay 20 pod. So actually you are making a prediction, you're given inferences between the two. Okay? To furtherly differentiate the two types of statistics, I have here some examples. Descriptive statistic, the average height of the basketball player is 6 feet. So they have here the average. You are just telling them that the average height of the basketball player is 6 feet. 10 out of 15 Filipinos prefer pancit canton over spaghetti. So you are just plainly describing. And third one, the population of the Philippines as of April 2017 is 100 million and etc. So just stating facts, giving information, that's descriptive statistics. On the other hand, inferential statistics, you are inferring something, you are making a conclusion. For instance, the drug is effective in treating leptospirosis. So meaning, upon researching, upon performing hypothesis testing, then you know that this drug is effective for treating the certain disease. Okay? Number 2, group activities significantly improve. Na siya yung word nga significantly improve. So meaning, mas pabor na siya, kung magamit na ka group activities kay mas mutaas kuno ang imuhang performance. Okay? So that's inferring. You are predicting something. And number 3, Colgate is highly favored brand of toothpaste in the Philippines. So naakay highly favored. So mas ganahan kuno sila. So these are the examples of inferential statistics. So let's check. Determine whether the following is descriptive or inferential. Number 1, a teacher administered a test to her students and compute their average. So we have here the word average, so meaning this is descriptive statistics. How about number 2? A teacher computes the mean score of the class in mathematics test to determine if the class mean is significantly related. So we have here the word significantly related. So if arirataman sa kanang compute the mean score, descriptive. But na may sumpay nga if the class mean is significantly related, meaning related ba kuno ang iyahang score sa science test. Okay? So kay naman siya comparison between the two. So this is inferential. Number 3, a business analyst presented the sales of the company for the past 3 months and predicted. So we have here the word predicted. You infer, so this is inferential. And lastly, for number 4, a sari-sari store owner records the frequency of sales of the 5 leading detergent soap. So, nag-record rin siya. So, this is plainly descriptive. Alright, so I hope you got the difference between descriptive and inferential statistics. Alright, so in statistics, you must have a data. When we say data, it could be from a population or from a sample. Population is the collection of all elements that needs to be studied, that needs to be um, recorded, that needs to be analyzed. So it's a set of all elements, okay, to be studied. Okay, and then a sample is a subset of a population. For instance, kani kay all high school students in the Philippines. High school students in Philippines. While a sample pwede ra siya some LC high school students. Okay, so if tanan gani collective sa tanan, that's population. Universal, that's population. If gamay ra gani siya, specify ra siya, that's a sample. Okay, so let's check. Let's identify the population and the sample for each situation below. Number 1, Joseph and his group wants to survey 25 of the grade 7 students in their school to find out if the prices of food in the school canteen are reasonable. So our sample here is the 25 grade 7 students. Kay mao ra man ni sila tanan 25 grade 7 students. So unsa man ang ato ang population? So the population kay all students in that school. All the students in their school. Okay, in their school. All right. For number 2, a computer game developer interviewed one class in grade 8 at St. Catherine Academy to know what computer games teenagers like. So my sample here, ang katong gikuha lang nga gamay nga part sa population is the one class or the one class students in one class in grade 8. While my population, all students in St. Catherine Academy. All right, last number, the school guidance counselor surveyed the first 50 students to arrive at school. So my sample here are the first 50 students. While my population, all the students. All right. So when you are having a data, of course, you need to have some ways how to collect your data. So there are different ways that you can collect the data, and the data could either be a qualitative or a quantitative data. So what's the difference with the two? From the word itself, quali, that's quantity. Quality, that's words or codes that may represent a class or category. It could be by names, order, or something that letters or codes. All right. While quantitative, okay, quantity, numbers that represent an amount or account, such as your scores, number of books, your age. Okay, so those are examples of quantitative data. All right, so if you are having a quantitative data, it can be classified into discrete or continuous variables. So when we say discrete variables, whole number can be assigned to that, such as 0, 1, 2, 3, and it is said to be countable, meaning it's the exact amount. Okay? Exact amount. So, this is not debatable. For instance, kung moana ka nga, ang ako ang car kay duha. So, duha ra gyud na siya. Digi kami nga 2.5 imong car, 2.01 imong car. So, discrete variables are countable and describes a certain amount, exact amount. All right? While continuous variables, any values can be assumed between any specific values. For instance, like the temperature. Okay, like the temperature. Kung moingon ka nga ang temperature karon kay 36.5 degrees, but it's not really 35.6. Pwede pa na nga 35.6, 35.60001, 35.60002. Okay, so we cannot really tell the exact value for continuous variable. Same thing with the length. Diba? Kung mayroon ka nga 5 feet and 11 inches, pero dili gid na siya 11 inches ra gyud. Dapat gid na 11.0001. Okay? So we cannot really give the exact amount, but just the approximate. All right. So let's classify whether the following is quantitative or qualitative. And if it is quantitative, then determine if discrete or continuous. Okay, number 1, hair color. Okay, let me write it here, everything. Okay, hair color. Our hair, diba? That's pwede red, pwede black, pwede brown. So this is a qualitative. Okay, let me just write QL, ha? Okay, so this is qualitative. Qualitative, quantitative. Okay, anyway, just stick with the qualitative and quantitative, or quantitative. So it's a qualitative. How about ID number? Okay, even if your ID number is containing number, but it is a code, that ID number does not represent a certain amount. For instance, akong ID number kay 2015678. Does it represents a certain amount? Diba dili? Mura na siya nimog name, pero by number lang. So, ID number is considered to be a qualitative data. Weights of freshmen, of course, weights are numbers. So, this is a quantitative data. So, QN, and this is ang weight. Di man siya discrete, dili siya exact. So, this is continuous. All right. Examination score. Examination score are numbers. So, this is a quantitative data. And, of course, kung may kag imong score kay 0, so 0, gid na siya 0.001, di ba? So, this is discrete. Number 5, mobile numbers. Your mobile numbers does not represent a certain amount. So, this is considered to be a qualitative. Quali siya, ha. It's because kung akong number kay 094248666934, but it's not representing, it does not represent a certain amount. So that's why it's qualitative. Religion are like Roman Catholic, Christian. So this is still a qualitative. Same thing with gender. All right. So, when you're having a data, you can classify it in terms of its measurement. Okay, so there are 4 levels of measurement. The first one is the nominal level. It is characterized by data that consist of names, labels, and categories only. So these are the examples of nominal level are the following. We have the hair color. Kanang mga names, hair color. What else? A religious affiliation, religious or religion, nationality, unsa pa man, nationality, favorite books, ID number, what else? Plate number. Okay, so labels are categories that's under nominal level. Oy, another one is we have the ordinal level from the word itself. Ordinal, so there is a certain order. For instance, we have the first place, second place, third place. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. So naa siya'y degree of order. Na siya'y order. Kasi kinaunhan, kasi kaduha. Okay? President, vice president, secretary. Okay. While the third one, the third level of measurement is the ratio level. Include the inherent of zero starting point, the highest level of measurement. So ratio is the highest level of measurement. Wherein through zero exists. So meaning na ang iyang zero dire kay means nothing. Okay, let me write here. Zero means nothing. Alright, so what are the examples of ratio level? We have here the scores. Kung may kag 0 akong score, 0 gid imong score. May kag number of cars, kung 0 imuhang number of cars, wa jud kay car. So absolute ang definition sa 0. Number of absence, kung wala kay absence, kay wa jud kay absent. Okay, that's ratio level. 0 means nothing. Alright, the last one is we have the interval level, wherein data at this level may lack an inherent zero starting point. So zero here does not mean nothing. It means something. For example, the temperature. Kung kag zero ang temperature, it does not mean nga wa tay temperature. Okay, meaning cold na siya. When you say ang imong IQ kay zero, it does not really mean nga wa jud kay IQ. Naa kay IQ. Zero na lang siya iyang equivalent nga meaning. So that's interval. Alright? So that's the difference between ratio and interval. Ratio has an absolute meaning of zero, absolute nothingness, while interval, it does not have, a zero does not mean nothing. It means something. Alright, so I have here an example. Identify the scale of measurement appropriate for each variable. We have the first one, shoe size. Kung ang imong shoe size, unsa man ni? So it could be nominal, right? Kay pwede man ang imuhang nominal. Pwede man ang imong shoe size kay large, unsa man, medium, or small. Diba? But it could also be a ratio. Meaning absolute imuhang 0. Kung wala kay shoe size, ay kung 5 imong shoe size, kay 5 gid na siya. Di man po siya interval kay ang 0 niya, kaming kag wala ko kay basa ko ang kung ngayon kog 0 akong shoe size, wala siya shoe size. Alright? And wala man say 0 nga shoe size. Okay, anyway. Number 2, car speed. Car speed, so what kind of data is car speed? That's quantitative. So, this is also ratio. Kung 0 ang speed, wa gid kanidagan, 0 gid siya. So this is ratio ratio measurement. Number 3, grade level. Oh, there is the word level here. So first level, grade 7, grade 8, grade 9, grade 10. This is under the ordinal level. Number 4, temperature in Kelvin scale. I've explained this a while ago. So this is interval. Because 0 temperature does not mean nothing. And lastly, the civil status. Civil status, single, married, widow. So this is nominal. Names or categories. Alright. So, when you gather your data, there are some methods and instruments that you may use. We have here sources or methods or instruments can be either primary sources or secondary sources. So what do you mean by primary sources? So these are sources that gather directly through your effort, the researcher's effort. So it could be through surveys, interviews, observations, and experimentation. So ikaw mismo ang nikuha. Well, secondary sources, these are second-hand sources wherein naana ni siya but imo lang gibasag balik, imo lang gi-check og balik. So kani mga books, journals, documents, and record review. Okay, anyway, So these are the difference between the primary sources and the secondary sources. All right, so you already have the data, you know already, you know exactly kung sa imong kailangang kuhaon when you have a research. So, saan man yung pagkuha sa imong mga sample? So, there are 4 basic methods in sampling. Random sampling, the first one, random sampling, wherein everyone has given a chance to be taken a sample. Meaning, tanan kay fair og chance, using the random numbers. The other one is a systematic random sampling, wherein you need to provide a certain number and then every nga motumong ana nga number kay mo imong kuhaon nga sample. For example, every kth number. For instance, every fifth number, every 100th person nga moagi sa imuhang cafe kay may tagaan nimo og mo imong i-interview. So systematic, there is a system. This includes a number numbering each subject of the population. All right. The third one is a stratified and the fourth one is a cluster. So may difference in stratified sampling and cluster sampling. Stratified sampling and cluster sampling are usually used if your population is very big. For instance, the buok high school students sa Philippines. So in that manner, you need to group your population into small groups or homogeneous groups, same properties, same characteristic. So for stratified, naa kay population nga dako, imong i-group by groups. So group A, for instance, this is your group A, group B, and group C. So using the stratified sampling, mo-draw ka randomly in each group. So if naa kay group A, group B, mukuha ka diri og random sampling, magkuha kag sample sa group A, magkuha kag sample ni group B, magkuha kag sample ni group C. Kung kinsa to iyang mga nakuha ni group A, ni group B, o ni group C, this will serve as your sample. Okay? That's stratified. Meaning, ni randomly get ka og representative in each group. While sa cluster, you have your group, di ba, dako ka, naa kay dako nga population. Imong group, let's say group A, group B, and group C. So, unsa maning cluster? So, mag-randomly select ka og group. So, for example, ang imuhang nakuha kay si group C. So, kung katong tanang elements ni group C, maoy kuhaon nimo as sample. So, tanang respondents, tanang participants under group C, may kuhaon nimo nga sample. That's cluster sampling. Alright, so let's check. Classify each sampling method. Number 1, every fourth student entering the school will be interviewed as to whether he or she wants to retain the policy of wearing his or her ID inside. So, our cue here, our hint here is every fourth student. So, meaning naa siya system ang ika-fourth. So, this one is systematic sampling. Alright? For number 2, employees of a certain factory are grouped according to gender. An equal number of representatives from each group will be interviewed regarding their level of satisfaction with their salaries. So, meaning, na a representative from each group, this is stratified. Number 3, all private school teachers in the first district will be taken as sample. So, tanang private schools teachers of first district. So, this is clustered. Alright, and lastly, number 4, a study of the economic status of all credit card holders in a certain bank will be conducted. The bank has 10,000 credit cards and alphabetical list of these card holders is available. 200 respondents are randomly selected, so this is random sampling. Simple random sampling. And that's it for the introduction of statistics. I hope you have learned something. Next week, we are going to have um, organization and collection of data. How do we present them, and some graphs of data. All right. So see you in our Saturday class, grade 7. Bye.